We are live. Welcome to the Redbird Redzone podcast. My name is Jackie. I'm filling in for Will. We're here on a Saturday. I just woke up, so no shot I'm getting on camera this morning, but I'm joined with my wonderful co-host. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, thanks for joining us. I'm Mac. You can find me on Twitter at AZSportsFiend. And we're here on a Saturday morning talking about Kyler Murray returning to the Cardinals. Yeah, buddy. It's been a long 11 months. I think the Cardinals have won, one game without him. So, it's time that, we finally get a little bit of promise to what has been a long, long season as we're here entering week 9. Or it'll be week 10 now. Nope. Yep, week 10. So how you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing wonderful. I've got my kiddo back with me. Tyler is back. Life is fantastic right now.
Good. That's always good to hear. You on the game tomorrow?
Nope. The next game I should be going to will be the weekend of Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, I believe we play the Rams. But I'm very jealous of anybody going to the game tomorrow. And it's weird saying tomorrow because we're here on a Saturday. But I encourage anybody listening, if you're going to the game, please, that first offensive drive, stand up, give K1. I know we're supposed to be quiet on offense, but give him a standing ovation. I think it'll help boost his confidence and just let him know that the old regime is gone. This is a new era, that the fan base is behind you.
Well, thank God we didn't start the season with Clayton Tune, huh? I don't think most of us would have our sanity right now if we did.
Listen, there were people lobbying for Tune, prior to week 1, even though we already had Josh Dobbs. And we talked about this. You get drafted, you had since, May to win the starting position. You kind of had a lackluster outing in preseason. There is a reason why we never saw him week 1. And even when Josh Dobbs was playing bad, there was a reason that he was never thrown in. And, I didn't get to watch the game, but the couple of drives I did watch, it was 3 and out, Tune gets sacked. Tune throws a terrible pick, way overthrown, which is kind of what I saw in the preseason. He's throwing to our very short wide receivers, over the top of their heads, which, surprisingly enough, Colby's dad kind of put it into a good perspective. It's essentially the third string quarterback rookie, forced into starting, and then you're forced into starting against the number 1 defense in the league. So of course he's going to have a terrible outing. But with all that being said, do you think that there's any hope for Tune to be a good, backup now that he is the number 2?
Yeah, I mean, you got sacked 7 times. Cardinals' offensive line was fucking dog shit. And that's why I'm not really, I expect Kyler to come in here and do some good things. What up, Giannis?
Shout out, Joe.
I'm not expecting him to come in here and have this team look like world beaters right away. I mean, from what we've seen in this offensive line, it has regressed significantly from the beginning of the year. DJ Humphries left the game. It seems like he's questionable to play this week. Same with Will Hernandez. I think both of those guys, I'd be surprised if we don't have a new left tackle and Paris Johnson moving over there and they do something with DJ Humphries this offseason. He has not looked very good at all. So I do think there is some hope for Clayton Tune, but I mean, it can always get worse. We had somebody mention last week on here, it can't get worse than Josh Dobbs. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Have you not watched sports before? Like, this guy, Josh Dobbs, has done a pretty decent fucking job, all things considered, coming here 2 weeks before the season. He did better than what I thought. 8 TDs, 5 fucking INTs, and now he's in Minnesota where he's a little bit more appreciated. So, shout out to Josh Dobbs. Did some good things here. Was hoping Clayton Tune to be able to learn from him a little bit, and I'm sure he did. But like you mentioned, this was one of the best. It's the best points against, I believe, defense in the league. But That front seven's no joke, and they got really good DBs in the secondary. So it was a mismatch to begin with for Clayton Tune. And now hopefully Kyler can come in, and hopefully this offensive line can protect him a little bit. Atlanta's, they've probably been a little bit surprising, hanging around 500 most of the year. But they got a pretty good defense, but it's nowhere near what we've seen with the Browns and even the Ravens last few weeks.
Yeah, and I think that it was probably a wise choice, as much as us fans we're just eager to get Kyler back on the field, just to see something a little more flashy, a little more exciting play out of our offense. But I think it was just a matter of like a softer landing spot. You don't want to put Kyler out there against the Browns front seven,
Yeah.
And he can scramble better, but Tune was running for his life. You don't want Kyler fresh off an ACL injury to be running for his life. So it was going to be ugly. But I didn't expect blowout ugly.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Cardinals. They really haven't been blown out this year,
No, and see, like that's
Not like
the
that.
point, is that we're not a very good football team on paper, but just what Josh Dobbs has been able to come in and do. We were in a lot of games. We didn't lose by much. So I mean that was always something you can hang your hat on, is just not getting blown out. I think like the national media thought like we were just continuously going to get blown out week by week, but we were kind of a frisky little team there for a minute. Kind of fizzled down, but we'll see how frisky we can get now that Kyler is back, and I see that James Conner was back at practice. So I think it's almost like a matter of like, oh, Kyler's good to go. So suddenly my back doesn't hurt as much. My shoulder doesn't hurt that bad. I think the guys are kind of jonesing to get back out there now that we've got K1.
Yeah, and I think we all probably should have, looking back on it, we all should have expected the Cardinals to take their time with that 21-day window when they activated him off the PUP list, Kyler off the PUP list. You get 21 days, and then you have to make a decision. And every week it seemed like people were like, is he coming back now? Is he coming back now? Looking back at it, I mean, it's only common sense that the organization would take all 21 days, especially when coming back from a major injury like that. So, he seems like he's ready. Listened to his press conference earlier this week, and that shit had me hyped. He sounds like he's a guy who missed the game, and when you miss a game, and everything came so easy for him in his life, football wise, entering the NFL. This is the biggest hardship he's had to deal with.
Yes.
From a mental standpoint, physically being able to physically rehab yourself back, without being on the field. That is a mentally draining thing that can happen to a lot of players. You kind of go to this dark room in your head, and you got to wait. You have to wait 10 months at least until you really start feeling, back to yourself a little bit. And that's what Kyler was saying.
Yeah.
So, it sounds, from what I could hear, in the tone of his voice, he sounds like a guy who has a different perspective on things. Now he's got a coaching staff here that will hopefully put him in the best position to succeed moving forward. Drew Petzing in the offense. We talked about last week. Petzing's a young, offensive coordinator too, so it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be people bitching and moaning like always.
Yeah.
If we don't win, even if we do win, I'm sure there will be people, but it could be a blessing that this happened to Kyler when it did. You never want to miss a full, basically 16 games, in your career. You only get so many seasons to do this, but for him to come back, take on a little bit more of a leadership role, I think is going to be huge. I've always said, it doesn't really matter how many leaders you have. They all follow suit behind the quarterback. If your quarterback isn't a good leader, there's a good chance that you're not going to be a great football team.
Right. And I think, Kyler's got to look around the room. This is a new regime. So a lot of the faces that he was familiar with that are gone now. But, that he's one of the more tenured Cardinals on the team. You got Hump, you got Buddha, Gardeck, and then now him pretty much. And then everybody else is sort of a fresher face. So, now that you've got to be that guy in the locker room, you've been with the team, you've got a new staff with you that seems to be bought in. So you have to show them and everybody else that you're bought in. And, it's this is going to be very tough for him. I think it's a different situation than other quarterbacks that have come back from ACL injury. Because not only was he having to rehab all off season, but he's also having to learn a new system, a new coaching staff as well. So it's a tougher task. We'll see how it translates, and it might not translate right away. So I think fans just have to be patient. But I did get to catch a little bit of the press conference too. And yeah, he does seem very hyped. He's got that competitive edge that he wants to be out there. He's got that. I think it's just like a whole new perspective that he's looking at the season with.
And then he's not tied to Cliff anymore and kind. That's gotta be a breath of fresh air.
And it almost sounded like a little bit, he kind of hesitated when they asked about, they didn't necessarily mention Cliff or Kime, but
the culture,
But when the culture was brought up, he kind of hesitated, kind of chose his words carefully. But even in that episode of Flight Plan, he said that with this new regime, he feels free. And that's very telling.
Yeah, and he brought up something which we've all, heard that, if you're late to meetings, you have to deal with the fucking consequences, something like it wasn't in place under Cliff and the last regime. And, as much as flack as Kyler's got from national media, he was enabled from the beginning by Kime and Cliff. You're a fucking 22-year-old kid coming into the NFL. They lay out the red carpet for you. I mean, shit, until, from a personal perspective, I took over my parents shot my brother and I in 2021 from our dad after he got really sick. But leading up to that point, when my dad was still there and I could lean on my dad, I didn't care about it as much. It wasn't as personal to me. I was there to help my dad, but, until I was the one signing the checks, writing the bills, paying the bills and everything, that's when it became personal to me, where come in earlier, stay later, come in on weekends, and for Cliff and Kime, it's basically, when Kyler got there, if you don't have a standard set, you're letting the players do what they want, and that's never going to work in the NFL. You can't build a culture, a foundation like that when you're not keeping people accountable. That's the biggest thing is, until you can come in the league and, someone is putting accountability on you and you're taking that, and this is what from the beginning, you're going to try to stretch it a little bit. Who's going to tell you no?
And you're just a kid. You're not immature.
You really don't know any better, until it's on your shoulders. And then that first regime left and you saw, oh shit, okay, this is what really needs to fucking happen for us to be successful. You get this new group in here. And it seems like, from all, accounts, JG has not lost this locker room, even as bad as it was this last week. That's the closest that I think we've seen it kind of lose the locker room. But I mean, we're gonna need James Conner and this offensive line to create holes and make it easier for Kyler with the running game. Last week we saw 15 rushing attempts by Keontae Ingram, Rondell Moore, and Tony Jones. They accumulated 13 rushing yards. 13 fucking rushing yards, less than 1 yard a carry between all of our running backs. Clayton Tune had a couple rushes in there, but from all of our running backs, they averaged under 1 yard a carry.
That's gross.
So it's fucking disgusting. And so how do you expect to learn anything about a rookie quarterback then? I don't know how I kind of transitioned into this, but just for Kyler to be able to be who he is and be successful coming out from the jump, this offensive line needs to take it personally and give him some help. What we saw last week was absolutely disgusting. 27-0 blowout, shutout loss, where we gained 58 total yards. So, but, just bring it all full circle to to see the excitement kind of in Kyler's, voice and, on his face during that press conference, it kind of was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
After through this long season, we're finally getting, our QB1 back. This team is not a good team. The offense, it's amazing that we've been in so many fucking close games, but with injuries seemingly piling up at the offensive line, I don't know how many games do you think we can win this second half? I'm thinking like 3. That might even be stretching it, but 3 to 4 because we got 8 games left.
Yeah, I would say
the schedule's not too bad either.
No, we've already ran the gauntlet of our schedule, and I said it in the beginning of the season. We're gonna squeak out a win that we shouldn't have won. We're gonna steal one from someone. That was the Cowboys game. So I'm still hopeful that we can win 2 to 3 more games. I will be shy of my 5-game prediction. But who knows, maybe we can steal another one. I would be stoked for that.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think it's more important to see what Kyler has, how he looks in this offense than it does getting a top 2 pick. But, I'm under the belief that no matter what happens, aside from a Kyler Murray major injury again, he's going to be the QB no matter what. I mean, there's only so much you could really learn in 8 games. You're coming back to a team whose offensive line is basically in shambles.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Paris Johnson, I want a whole new fucking offensive line. I'm sorry. Froholt, he's not it at center. Will Hernandez, I think we've seen the best of Will Hernandez. Yeah. I mean, he's not a guy that, I don't see the upside there, but if he comes
a depth piece to me, if he can replace
for sure
sit behind somebody.
Yeah, he's no franchise, guard in this league. DJ Humphries, he could get gone. Last week we saw Daly at left guard. We saw Cologne at left guard, I believe, or did he go in the right guard and Will Hernandez left? I don't know. It's a fucking mess. But other than Paris Johnson, what was that?
Our offensive line is being held together by duct tape.
Right. So I mean, more than anything, I just want Kyler to stay healthy these final 8 games.
Yeah.
Because there's a chance he's got to miss a game or 2. It fucking shit happens in the NFL. You get banged up. So, but to come on here and, say that if we end up with a top 3 pick, that means Kyler's gone, I think is just wrong. You got to give the guy more than fucking 8 games on a shitty team. Start from the beginning of a rebuild to really judge him.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, let's say he plays like shit. He's got no trade value if he plays like shit.
Yeah.
And if he plays good, you're gonna keep him. So
right.
I mean, if they're trying to move on, it ain't gonna happen this offseason. That's for sure. It would be stupid if it happened this offseason.
No. Yeah, and all the dead cap you're gonna accrue. It's if you are gonna move away from him, you need to give him at least through next year. That's my whole thought process, because you're not gonna be fucking really, worst case scenario. If he's not the guy, you end up with another high pick next year. And that's what and then you can roll with that. Let me shut these fucking dogs up.
Shout out Joe, my buddy in Germany. Thank you for tuning in. I wouldn't mind recording on Saturday mornings.
We like drinking though. I feel like I need a drink, but then again, it's way too early.
I was gonna ask. I'm like, because it's the weekend and it's Saturday, and to me, that's a-okay for a beer. But
I drank all mine last night.
Yeah, now I've got my child with me, so no drinks for me this morning. I do have a sugar-free strawberry flavored Monster because I barely just woke up. I'm so tired right now.
I don't know. First thing I saw when I woke up was your text, so it's like, let me roll out of bed and jump in the shower, get some coffee in me.
I haven't even showered yet. I smell.
Hence why your video is not up.
Yep. No, no one wants to see this face right now. It's not pretty.
All
But I just want to quickly give a big fuck you to Underdog Pick'ems, the whole Underdog Fantasy Company, whatever the fuck they are. I hope you guys go fucking bankrupt. I hope that you witness your wives cheating on you. I hope that you step on a Lego because they put out this little fun tweet because apparently some Call of Duty bullshit's happening this weekend. Says for every Kyler incompletion, one person who retweets this will receive a copy of the new Call of Duty. For every Kyler lost fumble interception, another entrant will win a console of their choosing. So when you're preying on my quarterback's downfall in the most classless way possible, eat my shit.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, I mean, here's your fucking attention. Like seriously, like these people, it never stops. Call of Duty jokes, the short jokes. Like, I guess we probably should have expected it. Knowing this is the week that he's coming back, but Jesus Christ, man, people are fucking like just attention seekers. Really, that's all they're fucking doing. They don't. I feel like they don't really care either way, but that's what garners the likes. That's what garners the mentions. So yeah, they can definitely eat a bag of dicks. That is for sure.
Speaking of dicks, big dick player of the game.
Ooh, tough one. 27-0. Jeez.
So I will never not give a big dick player of the game award.
I would say, guess it's defense.
No, I'm gonna give it to Josh Dobbs. He had a very good outing in Minnesota. Good for him. Did you see that he said that Gannon told him that they weren't going to trade him?
Yeah. Gannon's not the fucking head coach or the GM though, so I don't know why he's getting his panties all in a bunch.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But take it as a compliment that you're getting traded to a team that has a potential to be a contender that lost their starting quarterback, that you're the guy that they wanted.
Yeah, you got after what he did last week, he's got the whole fan base behind him too. So
yeah, they love his ass out there. I seen some guy shave his eyebrows in all purpose. So I'm happy for him. This wasn't a good situation for anybody to come in and try to win some games, but it's great experience for you as kind of a career journeyman backup that hasn't really got a real chance to play a lot of games, and just to go somewhere where there's potential there. They see potential in you. That's what you want. And who knows, you might get a nice bag for your services and contributions.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I think he could get, highest paid backup next year, wherever he goes, because he's a free agent. So you think that at the very least, if he doesn't land, a starting QB job, which you look around the NFL, there's a lot of fucking teams who need a QB. I could go through half the fucking league who would fucking, probably take Josh Dobbs on a 1-year prove-it deal. That might probably get better production than what they're seeing at the quarterback position this year so far.
Cough, cough, the Raiders and Jimmy G.
Right. I mean,
Patriots and Mac Jones.
Oh, Bryce Young. I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything, but he does not look like a guy who's ready to start in the NFL even next year. Even if they give him competent O-line and a decent running back. I mean, they got Miles Sanders back there, but still, that guy does not look like, the Panthers really fucked themselves more than anything, more than any team that we've seen in a long time now. And the Bears are in a pretty goddamn good position to, to hit on, not hit, because, they're probably not going to fucking hit on whoever they draft, but they're in a good position to where, they kind of run the draft this year. If they want to trade back a little bit, they can recoup some more picks. But yeah, I mean, heading into this year, we thought maybe that'd be where the Cardinals are at. We still have the number 1 pick as of right now. Yeah, I think maybe the Panthers might or the Bears might, because the Panthers played on Thursday night. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where we're going to be picking, but I think Austin Fort's shown so much more that what he can do in the draft through just 1 year. I mean, look at a guy just, like Dante Still, 6th rounder, coming in here and being productive for the defense.
That guy's a stud.
Yeah,
You know what?
yeah.
Give him big player of the game.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Josh Dobbs. I'm taking the dick back. Put it on Dante Still.
Tuck that shit between your legs. Between your hairless chaps. Yeah, I mean, but look at that guy like Dante Still, 6th round, like just a guy like that. With how many picks that we have accumulated, that Austin Fort's accumulated, I'm fucking excited to see what he can do. Especially with all the top 3 round picks. It's gonna be very interesting this draft. Actually looking forward to a draft where you believe in the guy making those decisions.
Absolutely. We've got real football guys in here, and even Dave Sears.
Mm-hmm.
He's got granted, Aiden Hutchinson is a you can't miss player, but I feel like he's really got an eye for this, and they were kind of around what the Lions did, and look at what the Lions are now, and even it's almost eerily similar because when Dan Campbell took over for the Lions, they just also got Jared Goff, who everybody thought, okay, they're going to roll with him until they can get a better quarterback and, kind of revitalize his career a little bit. So, that could be the same situation for Kyler, where everybody's under the assumption that we're going to move on. And then, you kind of work with what you got and kind of revitalize their career too. Even Baker, I feel like the league right now is so quick to give up on quarterbacks, but if you just put them in the right spot to succeed, because these were once number 1 number 2 overalls.
Yeah.
They're no slouches. It's not like a random fifth rounder that had to start,
Yeah.
So
people are so quick to dismiss and judge guys, before they're even the age of 25 years old, which is pretty wild to me. Especially when you come in the league, early 20s. It takes a few years. Not a lot of guys just jump in it right away and become, Hall of Fame fucking, QBs. And we've seen greatness as, Kyler Murray's done shit that no rookie's ever done as well, and it seems like a lot of people forget that. So, and last year was not a good year for him personally as well. His deep ball dropped off, significantly. So, and I don't know if that, there was a lot of bad passes, but when all your wide receivers are fucking under 6 foot, I mean, there's not a lot of margin for error there. So, I'm glad it looks like Michael Wilson will be back this week. And I think that he can have a really, develop a pretty good rapport with Kyler. I think that's going to be big going forward. And, to the people who are like, just sit Kyler all year, what's the point? Get that fucking draft pick. You don't want Kyler going into week 1 of next year, taking his first snap in a fucking game with this regime. You want him to build chemistry, this final back half of the season. So when he goes into, next season, he's got all the cadences down. He's got the fucking timings down, and nothing's new to him. So this is very, very vital, these final 8 games of the season, for Kyler just to get in a rhythm with these guys around him. That's not something that you want to have to do to start next season. You want to get that shit, the rust out of the way now.
Mm-hmm.
And it does take time. It is going to take time. I think, if Kyler doesn't look like his old self right away, you're going to hear the bullshit fucking chatter from shitty fans, fucking national media.
And
it's going to happen if he doesn't come out. And I don't expect him to come out all firing on all cylinders right off the bat. I want to see his accuracy from the pocket. And I want to see him sit in the pocket a little bit, show that he has command of that and the huddle, and then start using the legs more. But first and foremost, want to be able to see him hit those hot reads. With this offensive line, he's going to be forced to probably have to be on the move a lot. But ideally, in an ideal world, I would love to see him just sit in the pocket, try to get more comfortable than we saw last year, because that offensive line did him no fucking favors last year either.
No.
And to me, it all starts with the offensive line. Very rare will you get like a Joe Burrow who can sit in there and take the fucking punishment with a shitty offensive line and make your team better. That's just the reality of the position. There's not a lot of guys like that, and that's not a knock on Kyler or anything, but we all know he doesn't like getting hit. No one really likes to get hit, but when you're that stature, it's hard to really sit in the pocket.
Yeah.
So I would like for the offensive line to hopefully give him, a lot more time than what Clayton Tune had back there. Because really, I don't know how that INT Clayton Tune threw was fucking horrible. That, the one that you said it was overthrown,
Yeah.
But other than that, man, he had a pass, a fucking wheel route downfield to, who was it? Rondale, that was called back as a fucking invisible pass interference on.
Yes.
That was dog shit.
Yeah, like the one good thing, like what felt like maybe the one time we converted on third down, like that shit gets called back.
Right. So it's hard for me to really, say Clayton Tune will never be a QB in this league.
Yeah.
Reading the tea leaves, there's a reason why they went and got Josh Dobbs, because Clayton Tune was not ready. He's a 5th round fucking quarterback, So with, the running back situation, you're down to what, 2 of your fucking top running backs. Your running backs as a whole average less than 1 yard a carry. You get sacked 7 fucking times. That's why I said last week, it can always get worse. People shit on Josh Dobbs, and he came in here and did what he, a backup quarterback should do. Keep you in some games, give you a chance to win a few games, but at the end of the day, you just want a backup quarterback in there for 2 to 3 games max. Any more than that, I don't give a fuck who you are. 99% of the teams aren't going to be successful, So just, looking forward to Kyler being back, but people need to be patient. I placed a bet this morning for the Cardinals to win outright. They're only underdogs by like 1.5 or something on BetMGM.
It might be an ugly win,
I'll take all the ugly wins. Like I said yesterday or the other day, I'll take all the ugly Suns wins without Devin Booker. Had a couple people, no, bullshit, they need to play better. No, fuck you. It's game 8. Get all the fucking wins that you can get, and if you're over here saying fire Jonathan Gannon, fire Frank Vogel, you're a fucking piece of shit. Fuck yourself. I fucking hate people like you. I fucking can't stand fans like you. Fucking, anytime I've seen, I've unfollowed a few people that I fucking commented on that throughout, last Sunday to last night, seeing people say that shit. You're a dumb fucking piece of shit. Go sit fucking in your grandma's basement. Keep eating fucking cookies, kid.
Yeah, no, everybody that's shitting on the Suns right now, I would like to remind you what the start of the season was when we got Chris Paul made the finals. It's not about how many wins you get in the months of October and November. It's about what's happening towards the end of the season when you're,
you haven't seen your whole team yet either.
Yeah, we haven't seen shit yet.
Bradley Beal's been back for 2 fucking games, and he looked good, but
or KD's washed.
Yeah, for real. Like, people are fucking. I fucking hate people so much. And they'll call him washed because he didn't fucking win the game in the final 2 minutes, even though he dropped fucking, 35 or whatever the fuck he dropped. Like, people are, until you see your whole team, it's like the Diamondbacks in that bullpen situation. Before the trade deadline, you have guys fucking trying to close who aren't fucking closers and fucking who've really never done it in baseball before. And so when you bring in a closer, everyone's roles can go back to fucking what their norms are, what, they're best used for. And that made a world of a difference when you're fucking able to, have a guy up top, in Seawald, and then who the 8th inning guy is. Who the 2 7th inning guys, whether it's lefty, righty coming up, are going to be, but it just made a world of difference. So when you're, have a basketball team and you have to compensate for one without a new guy and Bradley Beal not being there for the first, couple weeks. And then you got your best player on the team in Devin Booker, who's not there for, who misses a few games, start the season, gets hurt, comes back, or He's still hurt right now, but that puts a lot more pressure on everyone else to have to do more than, you know, what maybe they're capable of or what their roles should really be in the NBA. So,
right.
Yeah, for these people, it's a fucking laughing stock. And I hate fucking Twitter. I hate half the people on there. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I need to start getting more choosy with the people I follow because, man, people are so pessimistic.
For real.
Like, we've known this from the jump. We have seen this since the off season with the Cardinals. This is not going to be a good team. We are
Yeah, we knew this.
starting quarterback alone not being there week 1 should tell you that this season is going to be a fucking wash. Of course, there's going to be some growing pains. Of course, there's going to be mistakes. Of course, it's going to be some ugly fucking football. But to be here in week 10 to say our new offensive coordinator, our new coach needs to be fired, learn the fucking game.
Yeah.
What did you expect? Did you expect us to go to the fucking playoffs? No,
of course not.
Or just like in free agency. Why didn't we spend money? We need to spend money. What fucking money are we spending? Why are we spending money to do shit when our starting quarterback isn't playing?
Yeah. That's a big thing is you're going to waste a fucking year of, you know, capital when you know for a fact Kyler Murray's not going to be there for the first half of the season. You have to go out and trade for a fucking quarterback who knows the offense because Colt McCoy's arm was fucking shot. You have a 5th round rookie. If you want to say, you know, Austin Fort should have done it, you know, well before 2 weeks before the season. Okay, that's fine. I get that. You know, he probably should have looking back on it. But I think they were hopeful that Colt McCoy could be able to, you know, pick his shit up and be the guy to you know, bridge the gap to Kyler. And that just didn't work out. They gave him ample opportunity. So this is the season where you want to give guys a chance to see who can be here and who's not going to be here moving forward. You know, you don't want to waste a year of, you know, of signing these big name free agents, which I think it's probably going to come this next year. We're going to see, you know, because you don't want to waste too many years of Kyler Murray under contract either. Like, you can't just have a 3-year fucking rebuild. And then by the time you rebuild, Kyler's coming up on his fucking, he needs to get, you know, a new deal. It worked out anyway. So you want to try to take advantage of this, you know, and Kyler's going to be here healthy from game 1. I would expect a much more aggressive money Austin Fort next year or this offseason.
Absolutely. And, you know, as much as people want to say, well, he's overpaid and we shouldn't have paid him, we shouldn't have given his contract. We gave him his contract at the right time because the quarterback market has, know, grossly fluctuated. So, I mean, we would have had to pay him when he wasn't performing that well. And then we would have had to give him even more money. So, I mean, his deal is looking better and better. And I feel like if there's true like potential that we could probably restructure a little bit, you know, just to kind of free up some money so we can bring in these free agencies, you know, if we are like a guy or two away, but we're not in contention for anything. So the Chuck Harrises of the world that want to say we didn't spend enough this last free agency, get fucked.
Yeah, we talked about it. I mean, this is the year, a prime year. You don't get this a lot in the NFL or any professional sport, where you can bring in guys off the really, really cheap and see who can stick. You know, who can be a fucking player for this team who gets paid pennies. You know, because you need that on fucking teams. Cardinals of Steve Kahn didn't have that shit. They really didn't. You know, so
if you can come in, old, let's just throw you a bag real quick for funsies.
So if you can find a handful of guys in here who can be really rotational players next year moving forward, that's a huge win, especially, you know, I don't think Austin Fort's going to throw next year away. There's no reason to if you have a healthy Kyler Murray. You know, just see how many games we were in with Josh Dobbs this year with the lowest paid defense in the league. You know, the defense has been overperforming. No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
You know, and now if you got to be able to have Kyler get back, you have to determine, you know, give Drew Petzing time with Kyler. You know, I know a lot of people have been critical with him too, which I think it's fair. You know, but he's also a rookie as well. And he's dealing with a shitty offensive line. He's dealing with, a quarterback that was brought in 2 weeks before the season. So while, there's a lot of schematical approaches that we have not agreed with, a lot of, the run pass ratio and certain downs and distances, you can't judge really everything until we get Kyler back, see how this offensive line performs. If, they look like they did last week, we have no chance no matter who the fucking quarterback is back there. So that's where it starts for me, is up front. Getting James Conner back will be huge. With, as much as DeMarcado, has looked like a guy who could be here in the future, he's still no James Conner, and you were down to your third fucking string running back last week in Keontae Ingram, who obviously this team doesn't trust at all. And he hasn't really shown anything now, so in a couple years. So it'd be nice to have James Conner back. Hopefully get Trey McBride a little bit more involved than he was last week. And, we get things kind of rolling. We get Rondell start catching some fucking passes for once. So that'd be nice.
Deep. I would like to see Rondell, go deep a little bit. I would like to see Michael Wilson get more involved because, I get it. He's a rookie. He has a bit of a injury history, and you don't want to kind of force feed him a little bit his rookie year when you're not in contention for anything. But I'd still like to see a little bit more out of him. And Kyler said, in his press conference, he wants to give him the rock. So for selfish fantasy purposes, that would kind of be nice. Shout out to me, because in my later rounds in my draft, I was able to steal Kyler Murray.
Nice. I got him in one league too.
Yeah. And then I had Josh Dobbs as well. And I have Bryce Young. So between the three of them, I dropped Bryce Young.
God. Yeah.
Kyler's good to go for me this week, so I'm stoked.
So we just wanted to thank you guys. We weren't able to make it Thursday here, but Jackie and I are here 10 a.m. AZ time. I think we had one other Saturday recording that we did. I think who was it was Jason Hayes, right?
Who?
From the Cardinals.
No Context Cards.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yes, Jason Hayes. Yeah, that was when my kid was first born.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
2 years ago now? 3 years ago?
2 years ago. She was like barely a month old. I remember, having to put her to sleep so I could do this podcast. And now she's almost 2. She's running around the house. I'm surprised she's not banging on the door asking to come in. That's why we couldn't record Thursday. I have to have somebody watch her. As much as I would love for her to be on the pod, she will not sit still and probably push a bunch of buttons.
Not a 2-year-old. Yeah, she's doing better than my fucking dogs right now. Fucking assholes. You got anything else you want to touch on? And we've been here 45 minutes. I wasn't sure how long we'd go today, but I'm glad you hit me up this morning. Asked if we were able to do it at 10 o'clock. Like, fuck yeah, let's go. So,
let's go.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm just happy the prodigal son has returned. I'm ready for the revenge arc.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be revenge season this season, but, Cardinals fans, give it time. We are on the verge of something.
Yeah, give us a couple of moments this year. Remind everyone, Kyler, why you are so special, why, a lot of us still believe in you. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for, for him to win a certain X amount of games or anything like that. Just come back. The odds are still stacked against you with this team.
Yeah.
As much as everyone would be like, oh, we would have won this week. This team isn't the same team it was to start the season with all the injuries that have happened. And I'm telling you, the offensive line, without the offensive line playing better than it did last week, which if DJ Humphries and Will Hernandez aren't playing, I don't know, as bad as DJ Humphries has been, he's still a better option than, whoever else is backing him up for the most part. So be patient, but hopefully we can get some moments to remind us, why exactly Kyler is still our franchise quarterback moving forward. No matter if he struggles or not Sunday, it's more than that. We need to see progression from week to week. It's his first week with Drew Petzing. It's not going to be perfect. Thankfully, James Conner will be back. So that is a huge, huge bright spot in my eyes, is having James Conner back, because the way he ran at the beginning of the season, there weren't many guys in the NFL running as well as he was.
I know he was on fire to start the season. I think I talked about it here that, it almost worried me that, because he was running so successfully, he's getting like 25 to 30 carries a game. It's like, that's not sustainable. But I feel like as much as we wanted Keontae Ingram to kind of take that next step, I don't see it right now. But I really like what I'm seeing at a DeMercado, who's been he's just been a surprise for me, and he's been running very effectively as well. So, kudos, because he was undrafted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So kudos to this front office for seeing something in him, rolling him out in preseason, and now
I believe he signed, if I remember correctly. I think I looked it up last week. I believe he signed undrafted with the Lions, and then and then we swooped him from either the Lions practice squad or they ended up cutting him in one of the first cuts of the training camp or whatever. And then we swooped him up. So, and I believe, if my memory serves, it was the Lions. And like you mentioned, Dave Sears, he's got a connection there. So it is kind of.
Lions have good running backs. So, I mean, like, it's not like they cut him or released him because he's a
for numbers purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a crowded
Gibbs
room.
And Montgomery.
Yeah. It's just a crowded room. So, yeah, to be in that running back room and then get to come over here, take
opportunity to run with it. Yeah. And that's what you get, when you're over, with the Cardinals this year. You get guys we just talked about. What guys can you have here moving forward next year and beyond that you can bring in on the cheap and have here on the cheap. And then you build around that. You bring in the pieces, that the premium positions that you're going to have to pay for sooner or later. We're going to have to pay for cornerback. I'm sorry, we're just going to have to. We're probably going to have to pay for a pass rusher sooner or later. But I loved what I've seen from Kevin Strong Jr. On the D line. He's been fucking a revelation. Through 9 games that he's played, he's already got career highs in tackle sacks, tackle for losses. And he played, with Austin Fort 16 games last year in Tennessee. That's something, a guy who, you bring here on the cheap, 1-year deal. We gave him this opportunity to get a lot more snaps than what he was getting. Will he want to re-sign here on the cheap? I got to get these fucking dogs. I don't know what they're doing. But, I'm excited. I'm not a lot of times 10 games into a season when you won one game. I'm gonna fucking kill these dogs. I'm sorry. All right, let's wrap it up.
PETA. He's kidding. He's not gonna go feed him a Kit Kat. No, but I feel like it's we've got a second win. We were a little more hopeful to the start of the season, just to kind of see what we can do with nothing. Kind of just fizzle it out a little bit. The excitement's kind of gone. The play has been bad, but now that we've got our sweet Prince and Kyler, we can kind of see what a little bit of a preview and hope of what next year can be. So I'm excited. I have not always believed in Kyler Murray. I did not want him here. I thought he was overrated. I thought he was too short up until the fourth quarter of his NFL debut against the Lions. I thought this kid's a bust. He's too short. All his passes are getting batted down. We made a mistake. This is exactly what the Cardinals deserve for the whole Josh Rosen situation. That fourth quarter comeback, I know we didn't win, but we tied. I was sold. I thought this kid is special, and this is the answer. So from that point forward, I've always believed that he's just got something. There is just something to him that no other quarterback, maybe like a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes, not skill wise, but just like as a competitor, there's just a little edge about him that he's got that separates him from everybody. A lot of people wanted to kind of compare him to DeAndre Ayton, number 1 overall pick, not playing up to the standard that everybody wanted. The difference is Kyler is a competitor. Ayton's just lazy.
Boom. Well, glad to own it. A lot of people, I was the same way. I thought you don't want to spend a top 10 pick twice in back-to-back drafts on quarterbacks. And really that it all falls on Steve Kine's inability to draft to begin with, but for Kyler to be here, he does have that little something that not a lot of QBs have, When we're down by 2 scores in the fourth quarter and we got the ball, I feel confident that Kyler's at least can give us a chance, put us in position to steal a game or, tie the game up. So there's not a lot of quarterbacks in the league I'd rather have over him. So, be patient with him over these final 8 games. I would like it if we don't see him running as much to start. You don't want to be pressing him right out the gate, putting that pressure on him and his legs. You want to be able to sit in the pocket. I don't know how realistic that's going to be, but we'll see. This offense is going to be catered to Kyler in every way possible. So I'd expect the ball getting out as quick as possible. Hot routes. As much as Gann said, pew, pew, shots. I don't know how many shots we're going to be seeing, but I do want to see Kyler take a couple, even early, just to kind of get the defense off of him so that, they're not just stacked in the box. So other than that, shout out, was it Eddie Money?
Eddie.
Thanks for joining us. Typically, we're here Thursday nights. We got some beers in us typically. Things couldn't work out this week, so we're here drinking our coffee, and Jackie's got her. What do you got? What are you drinking on? You said
I got a Monster energy drink.
There you go. You know what? When I get done with here, I might be going out to check out an estate sale in the neighborhood. So it's gonna be a busy little Saturday. So, but it's nice, nice to be on here with you, Jackie. And if you guys haven't, please subscribe. Just like like our YouTube button or page. So whenever we are on, you get that notification right away. And we're it's a little bit funnier when Will's here. We get someone to make fun of. Hopefully we get him back next time. We played the episode from 2 weeks ago where he name dropped you and that fucking thing, Jackie. Oh my God, I was fucking dying.
No, I know.
We're just at the shop.
His name is Girls, Jackie.
Oh my God. So hopefully he can make it next week. College Tings, I guess.
College Tings. Let's see if we can get him to read that email his roommate sent him.
Oh, let's do it. Right?
College Tings Will is just.
We need a segment every week, College Tings.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the new segment on the Redbird Redzone podcast. I know we're a football AZ sports podcast, but we're going to have Will just dish the college gossip.
Yeah, let us live vicariously.
Yeah, no, I've never been to college. I've been to a college, but I've never been to college. You get what I mean? All right, y'all. You ready to wrap up?
Let's do it.
All right. This has been another episode of the Redbird Redzone podcast. My name is Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. That is with 2 O's.
And I'm Mac. You can find me at AZ Sports Fiend. That's FIEN. And thank you guys again for joining us on another wonderful Arizona Cardinals Redbird Redzone podcast, Saturday morning edition. We appreciate you guys if you're listening live or if you're going to be listening on replay. We appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you, and we will see you next week.
Later.
Bye.